See King Kong battle the Kong of Steel. Challenge a copter squadron. Defy an army of tanks. Fight primordial monsters. An all-new adventure. King Kong Escapes. Thrilling in Technicolor.
You guys want to go get some D-E-S-S-E-R-T? Yeah, dude, I need me a T-R-E-A-T.
What you guys talking about?
Yeah, why did you guys just spell dessert?
No, shut up! Don't say it.
Why?
Oh god, how do we tell you this?
Simon can't spell.
What?
He can't spell, so when we talk about something he wants, we spell it out loud so he doesn't get too excited.
He's a grown man. He can't handle hearing the word treat?
Treat?
No treat.
Treat?
No treat.
Treat?
No treat.
Oh.
Okay, what is happening?
We told you he gets excited when he hears the word T-R-E-A-T.
What you talking about?
Taxes.
Oh, shucks.
What, so you guys just treat him like a toddler?
Treat?
No treat. Treat?
No treat.
Treat?
No treat.
Oh. Dude, you gotta spell if you're talking about F-O-O-D.
Okay, so are we getting an S-N-A-C-K?
Snack? Oh, come on,
Oh,
man.
dude, really?
Oh, come on, I spelled it.
Well, he knows how to spell snack.
So he can spell snack, but he can't spell treat?
Treat? No treat.
Treat?
No treat.
Treat?
No treat.
God damn it! Okay, he's getting fussy. It's time for an N-A-P.
Yeah.
What does N-A-P spell?
Party.
German sips with a grin so wide. Pogs on the table can't hide his pride. Creator in the corner starts to glare. Madness sparks and hate fills the air. Stack 'em high, a tower of luck. Germans winning, it feels like pluck. Alice Matt's fury, a brewing storm. Visions of pogs in every form. Pogs are spinning, tables turning. Alice Matt's eyes with fierce fire burning. Germans' laughter echoes loud in a world that's pog-bound proud. Matt sees and he's mad insane. Eyes on fire, can't take the strain. Pogs and pieces drive him to pain. His patience snapping like an old chain. And he's mad insane. Eyes on fire, can't take the strain. Pogs and pieces drive him to pain. His patience snapping like an old chain. Du bist nie gewinnen, Entenmann. Du bist nie gewinnen, Entenmann. Alas, my fumes can't take no more. Pogs and slammers hit the floor. It's not about the game you see. It's about what fun could be. Du bist nie gewinnen, Entenmann. Du bist nie gewinnen, Entenmann. Du bist nie gewinnen, Entenmann. Du bist nie gewinnen, Entenmann.
I'm sorry, Kissy. I'm so sorry, Kissy. Kissy. I'm sorry, Kissy. We can't read a post when I posted it earlier today about tonight's movie. I posted it hours ago. I'm sorry if you don't know how to go to the post tab. I'm sorry if you didn't select these all notifications when I post something that you get it. Obviously, you didn't hit the post notification because I posted it and you didn't get it. Sorry, Kissy. So sorry. I made it clear hours ago that today's movie was going to be Horror of Dracula. 1958 was Christopher Lee. But you have a problem hitting the post tab on my channel. Therefore, you didn't get the notification because you just don't know how to hit the all button when you hit notification. So, sorry about that. So sorry. You know, you people with all kinds of bashing I'm seeing in the chat right now. All kinds of bashing. Gee, colors. Why does it cut? What does it colors? I don't think it's. I think it's a key. Gee was definitely in the chat, and then Kissy doing all kinds of shade at me. Even though I posted hours earlier that tonight's movie is going to be Christopher Lee's Horror of Dracula. Kissy. That's why it's there, Kissy. That's why it's there. So. No, I didn't feel gee. You failed. Gee. You failed because you're a gee. And your gee is going to say geeing in the ban zone. So goodbye, you're banned. And I'm going to bring my guest in, but people want to derail it. So let me play this intro for my guest. Here we go.
Variante. Ya te canto que sea una de los infumables. ¡Ah!
The Mexican lucha wrestling is something else, alas, man.
When Lady Shadow Man played it for me yesterday, I lost it. No, I played it for her and then I lost it.
That small guy is a lucha wrestling icon, didn't you know?
Oh, I know. They're icons. Absolutely icon. I didn't feel Kissy. You're failed. Kissy. You failed.
Why are they mad at you this time? I have missed it.
You know, hold on. Guy, this is not a win for you people. This is not a win for you people. Let me explain something to you, okay? I'm going to be going down to Heroes Con in a couple days. I got in about, wait, hold on, let me do the math. Hold on. So it's Monday evening now. So 12, 20, 24, 24, 48. Close to 60 hours, I'm going to be headed down, driving down for that long trip to North Carolina with a pack of books, including, but not limited to, Beast, Citizen, Road Warrior, Drake. I got the mangas came in today, so tomorrow full, fulfillment is going to resume, and it's going to be a bunch of orders going out between the next couple of days. And then when I come back, more orders are going out. So it'll be why am I keeping Guy's comment highlight? He's in the ban zone. But actually, I'm gonna bring launch my screen here. There we go. So yeah, this is Beast, Citizen, Road Warrior, Drake coming out. It's coming out. It's already out. Wait, did I hold it upside down? Hold it. Here we go. So this is the manga right here. So and I also ordered buttons, convention exclusive buttons for Road Warrior Drake that I'm going to be selling at Heroes Con in a couple days. So it's going to be a road trip of epic proportions, and a lot of people, some people are probably going to be nervous about my presence there. So be it, though. Road Warrior Drake Beastly Edition, says Tim Olson. Hail Tim, welcome to the stream, or to the chat, I should say. And here's the thing: if you people didn't watch the movie that we're talking about, you can always watch it after the stream, because I guarantee that some of you do that, and it's a good thing. You should do that. So, but yes, I will be bringing copies of the manga version, as well as the hardcover, the trade paperback of this book, the first book, Street Champion Road Warrior Drake, and then I got buttons for you. Don't worry. Oh, from you? I didn't know you made buttons. Anyway, but this is coming with me. And the table display is going to be beautiful. I can't wait for it. It's going to be an awesome time. A lot of people are going to be there. I just found out that Rini is going to be there too. So you'll get copies of Fiendish if you're there. Von Coleman will be there with copies of Phenomenova. Obviously, I'm sharing a table with Matt C., Twitless, and Narwhal, a.k.a. Per Berg, the artist for Dark Horse Comics' Vatican City, which is about vampires. See how it just brought it back. So Perryberg is doing art for a 3-issue series for Dark Horse called Vatican City, which deals with vampires. And tonight's movie is about the head vampire, Count Dracula, in Hammer's 1958 version or adaptation of Bram Stoker's Dracula. So,
which is loosely based on the book.
yeah, it is loosely based. You know, it does take liberties. So I only judge it as its own thing. I don't really care about whether it was faithful or not. Is because Dracula's one of those things where it's just like the character is just so he just transcends the the film medium, and people just in their head there's a lot of head canon with regards to Dracula, and they just want like the vampires, the blood sucking, the violence, the impaling, all that stuff. So there really is no real cry for a faithful adaptation. They just want an exciting or an entertaining adaptation. So is this version of Dracula entertaining? In my opinion, it's pretty entertaining. It's pretty well done. So we'll get into that. Let me just lower my camera here, and I'll begin with the mood of hell. Why don't you explain or talk a little bit about your thoughts when we watch the movie?
Well, if you like the Hammer style of movies, if you like gothic aesthetics, if you like moody English landscapes and eerie castles and the classic image of a vampire, then this is the Dracula movie for you.
Okay, let me just pause for a second. I do got to address this comment here for a second. So the mangas took long for some reason to get published, but I've already been shipping copies of the book out. So I made extra copies to sell at the con. That was always the plan. But books are getting fulfilled. There's absolutely no doubt it's getting fulfilled. I can't help it if the books that printed close to the con, but that was always the plan. So everybody's getting their books. Everybody's getting their books. So there you go. So you can't say I didn't address it. So there you go. But yeah, no, I enjoyed this version of Dracula. I've always thought it was better than Lugosi's version. I know Lugosi's version is just like iconic, but I think Christopher Lee's Dracula is just better because you do get to see the fangs, and he's just more animalistic in this movie. So I just prefer. And here's the other thing too. I don't know if you caught this, Helmut, but all of Christopher Lee's dialogue is in that one scene with Jonathan Harker.
Yeah, because Hammer based their Dracula on a more animalistic monster type, not the fancy schmancy aristocrat that you see in some of the movies, or the ambiguous homosexual one that Gary Oldman did in Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yeah, I didn't like that version. That's Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula. I didn't like it.
No, it's like I said when we watched the movie. For me, it's the Joel Schumacher weird '90s aesthetic of the movie that kills the movie for me. It's a weird mood through the whole movie, and the only thing that kind of saves that movie for me is Anthony Hopkins as Van Helsing. That's the only thing that I liked about that movie.
I like Anthony Hopkins. I also like the prosthetics in the movie. There's a lot of like practical effects, which I thought was pretty cool. But I hated that they turned it into a love story. Like that was just like ugh. Like Dracula's a monster. There's nothing sympathetic about Dracula. He's a monster.
Yeah, I like the no redeeming quality Dracula one better, and that's definitely the Hammer horror one and the Bela Lugosi one, because he doesn't have anything sympathetic on him also. But he's more of a gentleman villain, where Christopher Lee is an animalistic murderer, almost a crazy madman.
You know, it's funny, and I think this is where like the this is what this film gets right. is that the animalistic portrayal of Dracula, because he is portrayed that way in the book. You know, they describe him in some spots. If you haven't read the original book, there's certain scenes where he's described as acting very inhuman, like for one scene where he's climbing up the wall, and this is in the book where he's climbing up the wall, and he's described as climbing up the wall in a very lizard-like fashion. And when Bram Stoker describes Dracula, he uses a lot of uh, metaphors to animals. So it's interesting that Helmet brings up the animalistic behavior, which to me is closer to the book than any portrayal before or even since. Because every portrayal since, even like with whether it's the Frank Langella version or the Gary Oldman version, they always portray Dracula in some very romanticized way. And it's like he wasn't that way in the novel.
No, and also they depicted his charm in the right way in the movie, his charm on
Yeah.
women.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not his sex appeal or his charming character that gets the women, it's his hypnotic um, craft that he does. And I think that's depicted also in the book with
Yeah.
his hypnotic stare and which is also kind of animalistic. And that does Hammer horror right.
Yeah, and it was the first of the series of Dracula films that Hammer begat, along with Frankenstein. They had the Frankenstein series. There was a couple of mummy movies they've done. We're going to go over some of those in the next few weeks because I do want to rewatch some of those, especially the mummy one. The mummy version of the Hammer was pretty good. I love that version. I always thought the Universal version was just like a little too dreary. Like the Universal version had some good stuff about it, but it was just too dreary for me. But yeah, as I said before, I just preferred this version, the Hammer version, over the Universal Bela Lugosi version. And yeah, like Tim Wilson said, Hammer is just fun. It is. There's a lot of fun to be had, but also the performances. For example, Christopher Lee wasn't given much to do, but he does it pretty well. And as I said before, he only has one scene of dialogue, and that's it. The rest of the time, it's just grunting and growling like an animal. But Peter Cushing as Van Helsing was pretty good. Also, Michael Gough in the movie. Michael Gough is the same actor that played Alfred in the Tim Burton, Joel Schumacher Batman movies. So he's in this. He has a big role in this movie as well. So a lot of people don't know that Michael Gough was a Hammer actor and did quite a few of the horror sci-fi movies as well. So KSS says the Dracula movie that's closest to the novel is actually the 77 made for TV BBC Dracula. Dracula is actually missing from the middle portion of the film. He's actually MIA in a lot of the book too. Okay.
I would say one of the movies that's definitely very close on the book is, surprisingly enough, the Jess Franco one with Christopher Lee as Dracula and Klaus Kinski as Renfield.
I guess I have to rewatch that one because I remember watching it. I remember saying to myself, there's like a lot of blown opportunities with that one. I feel like there was something about that version that like I was missing.
Yeah, I mean, it's at the end of the day, it's a Jess Franco movie, and if you know Jess Franco and the movies that he did for the majority of his career,
Yes,
you couldn't expect that much. I think.
No, yeah, Jess Franco. Like, if you ever hear the name Jess Franco, for those that don't know, once you hear that Jess Franco directed a movie, you know what you're getting. It's a lot of cheap with Jess Franco. So yeah, but I guess it could be fun. So, but don't get your hopes up if you're looking for something of quality when we're talking Jess Franco. So, remember, you've been warned.
I think the the biggest the biggest plus point of this movie is actually Peter Cushing as Van Helsing.
Peter Cushing and Peter Cushing was the kind of actor that had a lot of range. He could play a sympathetic character and play a villain. Of course, here in Van Helsing was the hero of the story, but played it with a lot of severity, I should say. A lot of range though. He actually, he was a very dynamic character. Van Helsing was, especially like towards the end. But
I
yeah,
think
it was. Go ahead.
I think the character had a kind of transformation during the movie from a man of science to someone who believes in the supernatural and becomes its greatest enemy. Uh,
Yeah.
and I think that's what the movie does really good. It's the character change of Van Helsing.
Yes. Yes. Oh, Dirty Francis. I prefer to think that Lee wore his Dracula outfit when he was an intelligence officer in the military. I wonder how that would have worked. I gotta think about that. That one's got me still. I don't know what that means, but I don't know. I just read it. I didn't get paid for it, so you're welcome. Anyway, Kansas says, what I like about the 91 Bram Stoker Dracula is this the only film that actually has Quincy Morris in it, and he's a real hero. A Texan mostly saved the day by taking out Dracula.
Oh, the
Okay.
American gunslinger. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the original vampire lore was that it was silver bullets that would kill vampires. That whole stake in the heart thing wasn't a thing till later. So, but I guess it's a callback to that probably. I don't remember much about the 91 Dracula other than like watched it. I hated that they made him sympathetic. I hated the whole story angle. It was just, to me, it was just stupid. It really was dumb. So I like a Dracula film where Dracula is just a monster and people are trying to figure out how to vanquish him. And honestly, like there is a case to be made, and I'm kind of in this camp. Not to take away from the merits of this film, but I'm of the camp that Nosferatu was probably the best Dracula adaptation of Dracula. But this, I think, is a good, solid adaptation on its own.
It's funny that you say that because it's kind of surprising that Bram Stoker's descendant threw a hissy fit over Nosferatu and not over that movie.
Yeah.
Because they are equally loose on the Bram Stoker book, but they were really angry over the Nosferatu one.
Well, Bram Stoker had just died not that long before Nosferatu was made. So I think it was just the fact that his death was still fresh and the estate just didn't like anybody profiting off of it. I think by 1958 they didn't have that issue anymore. I think that Dracula had already gone into public domain by that point. So, let me just check. I got to make sure, but I believe that Dracula had gone into public domain by this time. Hammer was already making this movie, and when they released it in the UK. They released it under the title of Horror of Dracula because Universal had the rights to the title Dracula, which when you see the movie in the US, it was Universal that released it in the US, so that's why they were able to release it as Dracula. So, yeah. Anyway, so Tim Wilson says, I kind of like Dracula being a bit of a tiny bit sympathetic. I don't know. That it doesn't fit for Dracula. Dracula is just, yeah, no, the sympathetic part it works on a werewolf, but not really on Dracula. I don't know. I can't get behind that. That's just me. I can't get behind that. Kansas says it's wrong. The stake from the heart and decapitation goes way back before there was even such a thing as silver bullets. Okay, then it's probably true then. So, but then again, you're Kissy. You're Kissy. So, can I really take what you say seriously, Kissy? I don't know if I can. I really don't think I can, Kissy, because you revealed yourself. You've shown yourself, Kissy. So, unfortunately, you may be right, but I'm going to disagree with you because you're Kissy, and I can't take anybody by the name of Kissy seriously. And I wish things could have been differently. I wish it could have been different, but it's not because you didn't really want to work with me. So from now on, you're Kissy, and that's how it's going to be. You're going to stay Kissy. So,
Lesmet, you are dangerously near KSS derangement syndrome.
No, I'm just tired of him trying to undermine me. Listen, I have authority. In a few days, I'm going to be in a big time con, and I'm going to really show people that I am this generation's Tom McFarlane. So this is gonna be a wake up call for all my detractors. They're going to see that I have influence and I matter. If you will be at a new level because of me, so you're welcome. I saved it. The funny pictures.
If you are really a peer of Todd McFarlane, how came it that I was at a giant Comic-Con and saw everything with Todd McFarlane, but nothing from you?
Because you didn't look right. You didn't look right. But I'm there. I'm I'm absolutely there. Anyway, I'm gonna read Kissy's comment here, just because he says the traditional way to kill a vampire in the medieval times was a stake through its heart and or decapitation. Sun hurting a vampire, however, was made up by Hollywood. Just like the full moon was made up by Hollywood for the werewolf lore. So yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. And it's funny how like movies just add to the lore of these monsters over the years. When they started out in novels, but then the movies added more to it, and it's pretty fascinating. Very fascinating. Lady Shadowman says, take a moment and hit that like for the D word boy, if you please. Yes, please do so. Tim Willis says, Vlad's wife did actually commit suicide, though. Yeah, see, okay, so again, I hate the whole Vlad the Impaler, connected thing to Vlad the Impaler. I don't like that. It's just like an obvious thing. And I'm not sure if that was the Bram Stoker's original intent. Like, I'm sure there was influence there, but I don't think that KS is trying to threaten me. Keep calling me Kissy last, man. My girlfriend isn't watching and thinking, why is this guy talking to the guy? Why is this talk? I read it. Words are wrong. Never mind. Forget it. Words are wrong. Hard. Okay, so. But the most correction. There is no concrete evidence of that. Digging up the body and rearranging the body. So that was something to that. But yeah, the movie clocks in at about an hour and a half, and it's I wouldn't say an action-packed movie, but the performances are well done. I mentioned Peter Cushing and Michael Gough, among others, and the gothic sets. The gothic sets are also amazing to watch, especially 1958. It's amazing to watch how the sets were just add to the cinematography, and just does it well.
It's also one of the first horror movies in living Technicolor.
Mm-hmm. And it makes you good use of that with the blood and the nighttime shots. So he wasn't. I don't know if he was outright based on Vlad the Impaler. I'm sure he was influenced by it, and that's something that's been discussed over the years, the decades since the novel was written. But I don't think he was meant to be Vlad the Impaler. I think that's a modern thing that they want. And when Francis Ford Coppola was doing his adaptation, he probably wanted to set it up to be different from the others by adding Vlad the Impaler as the guy that becomes Dracula. But I didn't like it. They turned it into a love movie. I hated it. I can't get over how much I hated the Bram Stoker version because of that, among other things, like making it into a love story. It just not doesn't work for Dracula. It makes him too sympathetic. It takes away the animalistic qualities of the monster. I don't like it.
There were also
yes.
Some actors in the Francis Ford Coppola one that did an underwhelming performance for me. I think Winona Ryder was miscast, to be honest. Yeah. I didn't think that Keanu Reeves as Jonathan Harker was pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, KSS says Bram Stoker never actually meant for Dracula to be based on the real Vlad. He used the name and cast on location, and that was all. Yeah, I'm certain there was influence there, but it wasn't meant to be actually Vlad the Impaler. That was a modern Hollywood thing later on, and Francis Ford Coppola said, "Yeah, I'll use it. I'll add it into the Dracula lore." And there's some people that probably think that Dracula was Vlad the Impaler. And that's like, no, it's not. That's just a modern thing to drum up the sensation behind the movie.
It also doesn't.
Before you say what you gotta say, Patrick Kirk is ordering pizza. He's glad we're streaming, so we're gonna make his pizza eating experience edifying. Go ahead.
It also doesn't make sense to base Dracula on Vlad Tepes, because that guy was a devout Christian and fought wars for Christianity, was almost a fanatic Christian, and it doesn't make sense to make him a creature of Satan. The only thing that he has in common is impaling his enemies.
Right.
And he only did that once, and he did it to Muslims.
Yeah. Oh, we called them Saracens back then.
Yeah. But it was Turks.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, I disavow like that whole connection. So, but yeah, so Gorehounds. there isn't really any gore in this movie. There's a lot of scenes of him sucking blood out of his victims' necks. There's a lot of blood in those shots, but with the impalement scenes when Dracula's female subservients are impaled, you don't see the actual impalement. You do see that, like with Van Helsing or even with Jonathan Harker, like when he's impaling the victims or the underlings, they're usually in the coffin and he'll impale them in the coffin. So you'll see the dagger going, the stake going deeper in, but you never actually see it piercing the bodies. But the sound effects in those shots when he's pounding the hammer, like you could feel that's impalement. So you kind of feel that with the sound effects, and it's a good job. Nice collaboration between the cinematographer, how they shot those scenes, and the sound design really emphasizing the heaviness of the hammer hitting the stake going through the heart of the vampire, Dracula's vampire servants.
Yeah, it wasn't very graphic like the latter ones from Hammer. They did change over the time.
Yeah.
The Hammer movies, they went really hard in the later movies on the violence and the nudity stuff.
Yeah.
But I think it fits the tone for the first movie to not show everything.
Yeah, and it was 1958, which for 1958, this is a pretty groundbreaking film with the portrayal of the vampires, especially with the makeup. You look at Christopher Lee in the shot, and it's still pretty frightening to look at. Like this is a very simple but wonderfully well done makeup job, making Christopher Lee to this very demonic looking entity here.
That's perfect cast.
Yeah, and again, like you astound people when you tell them that Christopher Lee only had some dialogue in one scene, and that was it. The rest of the movie, he's dialogueless, if that's even a word. I don't know. Yeah, Tim is saying, and I remember this in the movie, where not in this movie, but in the Bram Stoker, the 1991 Francis Ford Coppola adaptation, they have this scene where he's renouncing God because his woman was killed in battle. I hated that scene. I just hated that whole Vlad the Impaler connection. It was just totally unnecessary. It really didn't need to happen. It humanizes Dracula. It demystifies him. See, the thing with the novel, and then even with the original Nosferatu and this version, the horror of Dracula, is there's an aura of mystery about who Dracula was before he became this demonic entity, and that's still there. That aura is still there. That mystery is still there, and it's a way to help make it more separate from humanity of the other characters, to really emphasize that this is a creature. This isn't a human being. This is a creature. Adding the Vlad the Impaler mythos just humanizes him, and it just makes him less of a creature.
Yeah, Van Helsing also said it in the movie. He's the root of evil. He's a creature of the night.
Yeah.
And Bram Stoker depicted him also as that one, as a creature of the night in the novel.
Yeah, she jumped off. I don't remember much about that movie. I saw it once. I said I'm not seeing it again. So yeah, so she jumped off the balcony to the river. She wasn't killed in battle, but either way, she died, and he renounced his God, which is okay. That's I don't know. I didn't like that, but the whole Vlad the Impaler thing was just unnecessary. But yeah, so this is one of the Dracula films that accurately portrays Dracula as an animalistic creature. Great. What do you mean I didn't watch any of those movies, Guy? What are you talking about? I did watch. I only watched it one time. Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula one time, and I don't need to see it one time. That's it. Sorry if I'm not a big fan of it, but I have reasons for not liking it. I could praise some of the things that were good about it, like the practical effects were good, cinematography was good, Anthony Hopkins put in a good performance, but Gary Oldman as Dracula didn't sell me. Keanu Reeves was not good as Jonathan Harker. Winona Ryder was kind of annoying as Mina. I couldn't get into it. They weren't that good in the movie. I'm sorry, it wasn't that good. You're crazy. I'm nuts. Yes, I know.
No, not really. I really go d'accord with your opinion on Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula. I'm not a fan. Not
Yes.
really.
I'm so glad I'm not the only one. I'm so glad I'm not the only
Of,
one.
of of course, women like that movie because it has this romantic component,
Of
and
course. Yes, exactly. Because it romanticizes Dracula. And it's almost like the movie explained how Dracula was able to ensnare his victims. Oh, well, we'll make him just some kind of dashing old gentleman who's really a demon in disguise. And yeah, they just they kind of told on themselves when you think about it. So, but
there are from the early horror movie ranges
Mhm.
creatures and monsters that have a human side, like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and the Phantom of the Opera that we watched the other
Yeah.
week. But uh, Dracula doesn't have that. Not in the OG material,
Mhm.
and not in the majority of the movies. In no Hammer movie is Dracula depicted as sympathetic uh, person.
Yeah, he's depicted as a straight up monster.
Yeah, no redeeming quality, killer.
Yeah, yeah. Now, KSS, I'm gonna correct you on something. He says these two like a Chinese ghost story. No, that was what the fans in the chat voted for. They voted for Chinese ghost story. We went with that. It was an experiment that didn't go well. I said never again. We're not going to let the chat pick. We're going to engage it and pick the movies that we think are good discussion topics. Like this one, for example, horror. I'd rather watch horror Dracula than Razorback. You guys want to watch a pig movie? Like, get out of here with that. Yes, Kissy, I'm putting that on you.
I had to watch that movie.
I'm so sorry. I should have told you not to.
It was awful.
Color says blood-sucking murder is romantical. There's a whole subculture that's into that. Colors. It is a thing. Yes.
Okay, Carol does like Twilight.
Oh, well, that explains everything. There you go. Brian Crisco.
I don't know. It was a question.
I didn't say I didn't watch it, but you even said it wasn't bad. No, I didn't. That's not true. I never said that. I said it could have been better. Like the scenes in Twilight with the vampire and the werewolves could have been a lot better, and I would have made it a lot better.
Twilight is the bright edition of Dracula.
Oh God. Brian Christian said, "Hey, what up, everybody? Hammer time." Yes. The
Yeah,
first one of the
Brian.
many Hammer horror films. So, yeah, absolutely. Am I the only one that likes both versions, the Hammer and Francis version? I mean, there's people that like a lot of versions of anything. Like, I'm sure that there are people who are fans of Dracula that like the Bram Stoker version and the Hammer version. It's not a matter of just saying, "Oh, you must like one over the other." It's I'm hosting a show. My co-host is here with me. We're giving our opinions. My opinion is I don't like the Francis Ford Coppola version because it romanticizes Dracula. I like this version because it accurately portrays him as an animalistic creature, which is how he's portrayed in the novel. So I like, for that reason, I like the Hammer version better. This is also the first Dracula with fans. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit.
Yep.
Because we were like with the original Bela Lugosi version. You don't see the fangs, you don't see the blood. It's only implied that he's biting the neck. You do see the puncture marks in the Lugosi version, but here we see him with the fangs. You see the context making his eyes look otherworldly. He's clearly an inhuman creature in this movie, and for me, visually, it works so well to see a Dracula that is portrayed in that monstrous format.
Yeah, the human form is a disguise for this Dracula.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like Batman, almost.
Kind of what?
Like Batman. Like Batman is the Bruce Wayne is the human disguise for Batman.
Yeah, Batman is his animalistic version. Kind of. Yeah.
I was watching Robert Pattinson's Batman yesterday again. I hadn't seen it in about a minute, so I watched it again, and I'm always reminded how good that movie is. Like, I really love that movie. And no, he's not sparkly. Brian Kriska says the sweet spot for the Hammer Dracula series for me was Dracula Prince of Darkness, Dracula Has Risen from the Grave, and Taste the Blood of Dracula. And that's the one that you said you didn't like, right, Helmet? The Taste the Blood of Dracula.
Yeah, isn't that the one that plays in the 70s?
Let me see, because there was a couple. There was the Satanic Rites of Dracula and Dracula 8070. Let me see. Taste the Blood of Dracula. Not, well, come on. Taste it. Here we go. That one came out in 1970. But yeah, that is a separate. That's the name of the movie. Taste the Blood of Dracula, and it's the 5th film in the Dracula series.
My favorite is The Brides of Dracula because it has the awesome Van Helsing scene in the windmill where he burns out his bite marks with with something. I don't know exactly what it was, but the scene is pretty awesome.
And that Dracula wasn't in that one. That was just the or was he?
What?
Was Dracula in that one, or was it just like the woman that was left over? Because I don't remember seeing that one. Because there was a time when I thought I had seen it, but I realized no, that was not Bride of Dracula. That was Paul Naschy's. Because Paul Naschy did a series of Dracula films, and that was one of the movies he did, and I confused it with Bride of Dracula. So
Yeah, that one doesn't have Christopher Lee in it.
okay, yeah, I didn't think it did. Brian Krimsky says actually it was Richard Matheson who created the romantic angle in the '76 TV movie produced by Dan Curtis. Yeah, so like Hollywood or like the entertainment media over the years added a lot of lore to characters. In this case with Dracula, it added a lot of lore over the years through the medium of filmmaking. So it wasn't one single source that gave you all the information about Dracula. It was over the years. But that to me was I don't like the romantic angle demystifies him. If you see Nosferatu and you see horror Dracula, to me that's just the most accurate portrayal of the monster from the novel. Everything else is just Hollywood romanticizing it, and it just demystifies it. But yeah. Alucard is running a deep op, says fascist. I hope that pizza is good. I'm actually starving myself, but I had a pizza yesterday, so I'm not gonna have one tonight. But I hope that pizza's good, and I hope we're entertaining you. I hope that this is giving you edification. Yeah, Count Minster and the Brides. Okay, Brian.
Yeah.
And also is in the Brides. Yes.
Yeah, that's the most hardcore Van Helsing one that you will get. That's one of the best performances of Peter Cushing in that role of every Dracula movie.
Yeah. Guy says, I did like the Dracula book and Salem's Lot. Those are the only 2 vampire-related things I like, really. Yeah, I've not read Salem's Lot, but I know a lot of people said that was one of King's best books, Stephen King, so there you go. Let's see, scroll down more. Okay, so I think we're caught up to the chat. Last thing I see is Fascist Kirk talking about his pizza fetish. He likes pizza. So, like I said, I hope he enjoys that pizza. What was one of the things you didn't like about this movie? Let's see if there's anything you could spot as a weakness. I know that's a hard one to think about.
I don't think I see a weakness in that movie because for me it's almost a 10 out of 10.
Yes. Okay, that's high praise.
Yeah, it's a cult classic, alas, Matt. It's a movie that millions of people watch every Halloween.
I think when it comes to Halloween, definitely pick a Universal monster movie, a Hammer monster movie, and then anything after that. I totally agree with that.
It's also straightforward. It's no movie filled with riddles and plot twists and shit like that. It's straightforward.
Brian Chris got a mix of interesting comment. He says, if you haven't seen the Blackula or Count Yoga movies, those are awesome. I might do Blackula for a stream. I love Blackula.
I watched the 2 Count Yorga movies, which are pretty good.
Yeah. Have you ever seen Blackula?
Yeah, one time. It's cheesy and campy, but it has a very nice story surrounding Blackula.
I like it. Honestly, it's in my top 5 vampire movies. I really like it as a movie. It's cheesy, but it does it so well. And uh, who's I forgot the actor's name, the one that plays uh Dracula. It's he was the king of cartoons. What is his name? Hold on. It's William something. Hold on. William Black. Here we go. Okay. It is William Marshall. Okay, yeah. Very good actor. And his makeup is decent, and there's some shots in that movie that are actually pretty frightening. And it that to me is a good Halloween movie. Also, like if you're gonna do a series of marathon movies leading up to Halloween, I would add Blackula on that, and even the sequel, Blackula Screams, because that sequel is also pretty hardcore. So I think that's a good suggestion by Brian Crisco. Do I think it's better the Blackula Scream? I don't know. It's a good question. It's more of a horror film than the first movie, Blackula is. And the cinematography is a lot better in that one. But I think the first one is just a lot more fun. In my opinion, it's just a lot more fun. But it's debatable. Like, I'm not going to say people are wrong for that, but it's debatable. But yeah, I think Count Yorga. That's a movie I do have to see.
There are 2 movies with Count Yorga.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard a lot of good things about them. So,
and also, if you can endure the sexual stuff, the Karnstein trilogy movies from Hammer are also really good. The Lust for Vampire,
right?
Dracula's Witch Hunt, and the other one.
It's funny you said it because as I get older, I get queasy with sex scenes in the movies now. I'm like not as I get very uncomfortable now. So, yeah, I'm becoming a funny duddy. Marshall plays Wilma Waldy, completely straight and with a Christopher Lee level of authority. It's yeah, I agree. You know what? It's funny because I see William Marshall on the same level as as Christopher Lee in the Vampire. And it's like he commands that same presence. That's kind of I think why I'm leaning towards actually doing a Blackula stream because of that. Because it really is a good movie and it deserves a topic all its own. Totally. So that's a good idea. Yeah, you do feel sorry for him. But here's the thing. So going back to the whole romance angle with Dracula, I think Blackula did it better. Actually, Blackula does it a lot better because there's more depth to that. Because first of all, he's not Dracula. He gets turned into Dracula to a vampire by Dracula. That was a scene that was added in the early in the movie. But there is a lot of like the connection with the slave trade. You know, being black in America in the 70s, like all that added a lot of depth to the Blackula character. So there's a lot going on with him, and that's why it's like Mama Walde is one of the most deepest, well-written characters in vampire lore. It's not just a black exploitation movie; it's a genuinely good horror film, and there's a lot going on in that movie. But I think I should add that should be a separate stream because I could talk so much about it. It is one of those movies I just enjoy watching. Blackula is. It really is that good. And yes, Lady Shadowman wants to remind me that the reason why I get queasy about watching sex scenes in movies is because it's better with her in real life, which is true. She has spoiled me. She's absolutely has spoiled me. So, yes. And she's also making me coffee too. Her coffee comes with a special ingredient called love, and you can't get that at Dunkin' Donuts or anywhere else. So when she makes me coffee, I actually get very excited about it because it's just so well made. And homemade cream with that too, yes. It's hot, but it's deliciously hot. So there you go. All right. I'm sorry, Guy. I'm sorry, Guy, if sex offends you. I'm sorry, Timmy Olsen, if me talking about having sex offends you. But guess what? I am good at sex. So you're going to hear about it. I get lots of sex. How about that? Because I do. Anyway, Brian Crisco says, what's interesting is that the first Yorga movie was supposed to be a softcore prawn film. Yeah, I heard about that. Yes, Guy says he's gonna feel sick. Good. I hope you gag. Upchuck. So,
to be fair to the Karnstein movies, yes, it has a lot of sexuality, but the book that the story Lust for Vampire is based on has also a lot of sexuality.
Yeah.
It's the Camarilla book, and it's about that female vampire that is kind of lesbian.
Oh, you mean Camille?
Caramilla or something like that. It's
think
the
it's I think
character
it's
that
Camille.
Ingrid
Yeah.
Pitt plays in Lust for Vampire.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
And it makes sense. And it's also not exploitive. You see some naked women. Oh my god. So
Hang on
some
there.
very good looking naked
Yeah.
women, by the way.
Yeah, they obviously had to cast a lot of attractive women, and you know, it's a nice little marketing ploy. But Ryan Kriskoff says the Hammer movies became less sexy when they could have nudity. For me, Hammer is all about the booby dresses. It's a good point. Like, okay, so like with this movie, like with the horror of Dracula, there is very minimal sex appeal, but the women are naturally beautiful looking, and a lot of it is the cinematography, the makeup, how they're shot. But there isn't any, and it's funny because even then there's still some hint of exploitation, but nothing gratuitous. Would you agree, Helmut, or am I seeing it from a different perspective?
It's subtle, especially if you compare it to the latter vampire movies from Hammer, because they get more explicit with the time.
I love Vampire Circus, and never forget Captain Kronos Vampire Hunter.
Yeah.
That's a classic.
Captain Kronos is the OG Blade.
Oh Lord, is that some chicken? He says. Oh, he's talking about Dracula. Some chitlins. There's a lot of jive in that movie, but it's to its benefit. So, Captain Kronos is my shit. I have the original lobby cards in my walls. Lobby cards are great. I love lobby cards. I if I ever see a lobby card for some of my favorite movies, I would definitely get those because that's a product of its time. It's like a time travel thing when you look at a lobby card and you can appreciate the artwork of the movies they were promoting, like the posters of it. To me, film posters is a lost art today. Let me see if I can find the lobby card for horror Dracula since he brought it up. Let's see. Lobby card for the horror of Dracula. Let's see. Dracula. And on eBay, you can buy some lobby cards. There's always people that are selling. Oh, there's actually a couple here. This is actually pretty dope looking. Let me see. Let's look at this one here. From this is dope. I like this. This reminds me of the old poster for Dracula's Death from which is a lost silent film. One of the first depictions of Dracula, but it's lost. But here's a lobby card for horror Dracula. It's pretty frightening. The chill of the tomb won't leave your blood for hours after you come face to face with Dracula. Look at that. Look at the how frightening that looks. Right?
It reminds me of the box art of the first Castlevania game.
Okay. And there was another lobby card for this here. Let's see. Here we go. This one has Christopher Lee. This is on eBay. So here we go. That's Christopher Lee right there. So that's a scene from the movie. Yeah, lobby cards are definitely an art unto itself. Here's another lobby card. So yeah. Like I said, they're a product of its time because the 50s and 60s, those movies had a lot of lobby cards, but they don't really do lobby cards anymore. They haven't done it in decades. Kissy says, "I'd proudly display that lobby card. I love that movie. I think I saw it. I first saw it on Commander USA's Groovy Movies on a Saturday afternoon when I was 6 or 7. I wonder which movie he's talking about. He's talking to Chris Gow. So what? Okay, Kronos. He's talking about Captain Kronos. Okay."
Yeah, I have a lot of background information about Captain Kronos because the main actor Horst Jansson was from Germany, and I was a huge fan as a kid of Horst Jansson because he was one of the human hosts of the Sesame Street, of the German Sesame Street. So I grew up kind of with Horst Jansson, and later when I became older, and then I became aware of Hammer, I found the other side of Horst Jansson as a vampire killer.
Okay. So Guy says he never heard of lobby cards. Oh yeah, that was a thing in the 50s and 60s. Great art.
Even
Fun
even
looking.
even in the 90s, Alasma, they still had lobby cards, as at least here in Germany.
Okay. Yeah, definitely not here in the States then. I haven't seen much in the way of lobby cards here, which again, it just shows you how poor the American marketing for movies are now. Like with the film posters, terribly designed. They're very boring to look at because you look at a modern day film poster, especially if it's a horror film poster, and it's a bunch of heads, a bunch of actors just looking at you, and maybe a hint of whatever fear or whatever enemy they're facing in that movie. But that's all it is. It's just, there's no design to it. There's no fun looking element to it. There's no exaggeration. A lot of these horror movies, when they had their posters, there was a lot of exaggeration in those film posters to get you sucked in into the movie, and sometimes like the posters were better than the movie. So
It's also not helping that 99% of those movie posters have Pedro Pascal and Zendaya on it.
oh gosh, don't get me started on Pedro Pascal. Oh gosh, no.
Fuck that guy.
Oh
Oh,
man. Oh no,
I'm fucking oversaturated with Pedro Pascal. I can't see that guy anymore.
Oh, you know that Pedro Pascal Dracula's coming. You know it's coming.
Oh God, no. Please, no.
Count on it. Yes, you heard it here first, and I'm gonna say too bad. Um, there was a mini comic series follow up of Captain Chrono. Did you read it? And if so, was it good or terrible? And someone in the chat earlier mentioned about Bruce Timm having art, hammer inspired art. So why is Pedro so pushed? I don't know, Guy. I don't know. But then again, with regards to the Fantastic Four movie that's coming out, a lot of people are saying that he wasn't even the first choice. Like they presented that script to like 9 other actors, and they said no. And Pedro Pascal was they presented to 8 other actors, and Pedro Pascal was the 9th one that presented to, and he said, "Yeah, I'll do it." So he probably wasn't even the first choice, which makes sense. I'm shocked that he was a choice, period, but he was. So
It's not even his bad acting that puts me off. It's his pandering to retards and degenerates.
yeah, there's too much of that. Too much politicking with regards to movies.
Yeah, he's the male Zendaya because that's the same with Zendaya. She's in everything. She's not good at acting. She doesn't look good, and she's a retard.
Yeah. No, that's true. Yeah, yeah. But gone are the days when we had legendary actors like Peter Cushing, guys who had theater experience, who were very proud of their skills and who commanded the scenes, who commanded the shots when they entered it.
It's called stage presence.
Mm-hmm. Stage presence. That's a good term for it. Stage presence, stage cred.
You could see that in the older guys because they had the theater experience. Because many of the old actors came from theatrical backgrounds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that was the thing also with Lon Chaney.
Well, I mean, a lot of the silent films back then were basically theatrical stage productions, just shot on I think it was nitrate they shot it on. I don't think it wasn't film. It was like nitrate or something they used to shoot movies back then on. But yeah, that's really what it was. They were just theatrical performances shot on cameras, movie cameras.
And that's what's lost with today actors. They don't go to that through that theater stuff.
Yeah,
and that's missing.
Yeah, it is. It's sad because there's a lot of skill that you learn being in a theater, and not even just like for movies, but there's a lot of like practical skills you get acting in theaters. Like it teaches you how to give a presentation in public. So I learned because I used to be in theater. I used to do a lot of acting in theaters, and that taught me how to do public speaking to people. And my current day job right now, like I do a lot of that. I do a lot of speaking to people. So you learn how to not just talk but perform. So you practice eye contact, you practice how to be charming, you practice charisma. Those are all skills you get having to do things like theater. So it teaches you how to do that. It teaches you how to speak. Teaches you how to, in some form, you learn a little bit of empathy being there. Because when you're playing a character, you're assuming that character's motivations and his reasons for being, and it helps you to learn how to use that skill in practical situations.
It's also that modern films rely too much on dialogue. They don't do this mannerism stuff from the early movies anymore. Like we talked about the Lon Chaney Phantom of the Opera. Okay, there
Yeah.
was no sound, but even if there were, the mannerisms of Lon Chaney, how he used his hands to
Hmm.
depict certain feelings,
Yeah.
uh, that was the art in itself
Yes.
in that movie.
Yeah. The body language and him being able being able to not even say anything, just using his hands as he's pulling his Christine over to him, and it's like, yeah, he's speaking with just his hands. Okay, it says his Hammer's Mummy was better than the Universal Mummy. I love Hammer horror. I agree. I have the Universal Mummy movie on Blu-ray, and I appreciate the cinematography. I appreciate the pre-code feel of it, but I was kind of bored with it. It was like, yeah, this is kind of boring. Like, and I don't say that often about older movies because I appreciate older movies, how they pace and their form of storytelling. You know, like I love the original Frankenstein. I love Nosferatu, but the Mummy was just kind of dreary. I was surprised how dreary that movie was. It wasn't as exciting or fun as I had hoped it would be. It wasn't even horrific. It was just it definitely felt like a downgrade in many ways. But the Hammer version, which I think I might do next week, because I do want to revisit that one. I definitely enjoyed the Hammer version a lot, so I want to revisit it again and go from there. Yeah, the chat's into the Kronos conversation. Sark says vaudeville was the original source of the first films. Many silent actors started there. Yeah, vaudeville was definitely a thing of the past. It's a product of its time. But when I was growing up and you hear vaudeville, you're thinking like all kinds of attractions, all kinds of performances, all kinds of variety of just entertainment. Vaudeville was a spectacle unto itself, and these actors, these silent actors, came from that. And someone like Lon Chaney, when he performed, you could see the vibrancy of how he performs with his body language, because he had that background and training in theater. And back then, it was just there was a method to it. It was you needed to animate yourself to entertain the audience. So yeah, I did learn charisma, Gee. I learned it, and I'm gonna have charisma when I go down to North Carolina this week, and I'm at Heroes Con. I'm gonna sell books, shake hands to the people that are there, and be a inspiring, influential comic creator as I am this generation's topic farming. So know your place because I'm important. So I kind of wish vaudeville was. You know what's funny, Sark? This generation can't do vaudeville. It really can't. It's too desensitized with the social media, with the style of films that we have today. It wouldn't be able to handle or do vaudeville pretty well because vaudeville requires a lot of imagination, and I feel like this generation's imagination has been robbed because they're being fed imagination rather than creating it. That's just what I think. It's so it's so hooked on the quick dopamine hits of like the 2-3 minute videos and seeing all the internet blood sports, all that stuff. It's just it sucks away the inspiration. It sucks away the imagination. So if to in order to go back to vaudeville, we would have to go back to the simplicity of when vaudeville was active at the time. There was nothing at the time. There was no TVs. There was no theaters. There was no. Well, there was theaters, but it wasn't like it is today. There was no other source of real entertainment. So vaudeville was so unique because of that. But today, it wouldn't thrive. The circus eventually went away. You know, it really depended on it being a grand source of entertainment. Today wouldn't be. It would have too much to compete with. Brian Kristoff says the original Universal Mummy sucks. Damn. It's just a retread of Dracula, but the sequels are worthwhile watching. Yeah, I'll probably have to look into the sequels for sure. But so, Lady Shadowband says to Guy. First of all, Guy, why are you talking to your Shadowband? No, you place, Guy. You have colors in the band zone. Talk to colors. Anyway, she says, "You are wrong, sir. He doesn't force his nudity on anyone. He covers it with a. I don't do that. I don't do that. That's fake news. I don't do that. I don't wear the duck dong ever. Well, one time I did, but that was for stream, for Dark Gift. I did it for Dark Gift, but no, I don't wear duck dongs.
So you wear it for Dark Gift, but not me. I see how you are.
I did it as a favor to him. Oh God, someone's gonna clip that. Oh fuck me, I'm gonna get clipped on that one. Damn it! Strike it. I never said that. Anyway, Brian Chris said the Mummy's Tomb is especially good. Okay, so I'm gonna have to check that out. The one Hammer I actually have to see is the Curse of the Werewolf. Me too. That's another one I gotta put in my list. Curse of the Werewolf.
That is a good one. That is a good one with a really interesting backstory how that werewolf came to be.
We should say that for the actual presentation because I know I'm gonna enjoy that one. Chris says, one reason why the Universal Dracula is so dull is because it's based on a stage play, not the novel. Yeah, when you watch that movie, it definitely has the feel of a stage play. But that's because it was based on a stage play. So yeah, exactly. So, but to me, that movie was hampered by so many better versions over the years and so many better vampire movies over the years. So we have a Risey sighting. He says, yes, do better. Oi, oi, says Risey. Welcome, Risey, to the chat. Good to have you here. Donald, Tim, you were doing so good up to this point. Do not sully my chat with body shaming. My head is normal. And when people see me in person at HeroesCon, they're gonna realize, oh, he doesn't have a peanut head. He has a normal head. He's a human being. He's a human being. He's a color. He's a human being. So that was a very charismatic Spurgran D word. Aha! How about that? How about that? The Mummy is just as lame. Okay, the Mummy is just a lame, slow zombie in place of Dracula. Brian Kristoff. Universal Mummy is the weakest of the Universal monsters. I'm a creature of the Black Lagoon man myself. Well, that's probably why he was never included really in the library of Universal monsters over the years because of that. Like the other monsters were more exciting. So Guy says, I will start a cult. No, I will definitely. By the way, let me show you this. So I've been reading this book called Cultish by Angela Montel. The language of fanaticism. I've been reading this. So a lot of interesting stuff. I mean, I kind of understand the traits of a cult and how it starts, why people are attaching themselves to it, but the language part is just fascinating. And I guess you can tell a lot of it has to do with our space, our comic space. There definitely is a cultish spirit in our comic space. I don't think you need to go further because you know what I'm talking about. So anyway, let's see. Scroll down more. Okay, Risey wants somebody get him his shoes so he can get out of bed. Yes, Risey, get out of bed, get your shoes. You have a day to conquer, I think. Henry Thune says, good night. Just got home and God bless. God bless you, Henry Thune. Glad to see you here. And hopefully you're enjoying your time here. So, oh, I'm behind in the chat. The chat's on fire once again. Hail to the chat. Let me scroll down a little bit. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay. Guy says, wow. Yes, Guy. Wow. Wow to you. Wow to you as well, Guy. Lots of Guy. Okay. And I think that's about it. I think I'm caught up. Yeah, Lady Shadowman is helping me with keeping up the chat. Yes, as soon as I mentioned cult, a lot of you are like jumping in on it. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. That's how do we get to the conversation about cults again? I don't know. What?
I mean, cultists or cult leaders better are like emotional vampires. They drain you of life force and of your character and your autonomy.
Yeah, no, I don't dispute that at all. Absolutely. But how do we get to that point? But what was I saying before we got to the cult part? That's what I'm fascinated by. Like, how did we get to that?
Mhm.
I don't remember. Oh, because
In-
Guy says I'm trying to start my own cult. That's why. So no, Guy, you're wrong.
okay.
Absolutely not. That's you're derailing the conversation. We're talking about horror Dracula and a conversation about vampire movies and all that stuff. So you are wrong, Guy. As usual, you are wrong. But anyway,
But
he said,
interesting enough, there are two Hammer Dracula movies that are surrounded by a cult thematic.
okay.
The one that plays in the 70s and the
Uh-huh.
one of Cult
Oh,
of
right. Yeah.
Dracula.
Yeah. The satanic ritual. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Absolutely. Yeah. I remember watching that a few years ago for Halloween when I was working at the hospital, and they had the one of the channels was playing the marathon of horror movies. I think it was AMC they had on, and they were showing the Dracula marathon, and they got into satanic rites. And I was watching some of that, and I was like, oh wow, that's kind of that's kind of interesting. Like how they had a cult that resurrected Dracula in the 70s. So, but that was probably one of the only few things that was interesting about that movie. But when we get to that, we'll talk about it.
Just go to Nolans if you want some vampires.
Go to where?
Nolans.
Nolans?
New Orleans.
Oh, New Orleans. Okay.
Nolans.
Okay. Kansas says we're watching the original Wicker Man. No, we're not doing that. I already said it's either going to be Hammer's Mummy or possibly Curse of the Werewolf.
Yeah, you're traveling next month.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's right.
What time are you getting home?
That's right. So next, today is the last stream I'm doing. I won't be doing Indie Comics Outliers this week because I'll be in North Carolina preparing for Heroes Con. So I won't be streaming after today. I won't be streaming again until next Thursday because next Monday I'll be traveling back from Pennsylvania. But I have a speaking engagement for my job here next Monday. So by the time I get here, I'll probably head to where I got to go to do my speaking engagement. So I won't be streaming again until next Thursday. So I may go live at some point during the con. I don't know. Maybe I'll go live for a few minutes to say hi to people, but it won't be my typical streams because I'll be busy. I'll be saying hi to people, take lots of pictures, some video, people that I meet, shaking hands. Make some memories. Make this mean something. Actually, have actual positive, healthy human interaction, and inspire a generation. So, wait, who's timing you out? Tim Olsen. Nobody time out the Olseniter because I need him alive because it's for our Diversitop quota. So please don't pick on him too hard. Let me see now. No, that's just correct. I ain't giving Lindy Graham nothing. I ain't giving him nothing. The guy's a jelly spined worm. So no, thank you. No, thank you. How did y'all talk about Jet? Why are we talking about Jet Li? What happened in the conversation that got to Jet Li? We're talking horror movies and horror Dracula. See, you got to derail the conversation as usual. You can't have a conversation about vampire movies and this would be because you want to derail it because you're selfish. You're selfish. You're cultish. You're full of self. You're narcissistic and you're a problem, Guy. That's why you stay in the band zone with colors. My goodness. So not next Monday, no movie. But I'm gonna lean it'll either be the Hammer Mummy or Curse of the Werewolf. It'll be one of those two movies for next week. That's what we're gonna be leaning on. Not next week, the week after. So the week after is when I'll be doing it. But yeah, so today will be my last stream until next Thursday. So it'll be a whole 10 days as far as like a regular streams where I'll be streaming again here. But I will be active. If you follow me on X, so you guys can see what activities and what shenanigans I'll be doing. I'll be meeting a lot of people, saying hi to a lot of people. So it'll be great opportunity to really like finally meet people, shake hands with people, just make it inspiring and influential, creative activities and interactions. So
Now that I was on a kind of comic convention, I can see why it is healthy as a comic fan and a fan of pop culture to go to those gatherings and to meet up with other people and talk
Yes.
with them and shop around, because it's a very different experience than doing the internet shit that we are doing.
Okay, Sark. So we're gonna, since Lady Shadowman is cheering it, we're gonna do Curse of the Werewolf. So that'll be the next movie, and after that we'll do Hammer's Mummy movie. So Curse of the Werewolf next week, not next week. Curse of the Werewolf next time, which is in 2 weeks. That's with Oliver Reed. So you have time, therefore, to watch Hammer's Curse of the Werewolf. So I don't want to hear nobody saying, "Oh, I didn't know about it. You jerk." No, you heard about it because I said it right now. Kissy, Kissy. Are you listening? Kissy, Kissy. It's gonna be Curse of the Werewolf. Kissy. God. And yes, don't talk about Tim Olsen because we need white guys in the chat for diversity. Can't be pox all the time. We need to have our token white so we can be protected when the spears get chucked at us. So keep that in mind, please. Let's see here. I keep saying let's see here because why not? I'm not Spurgy colors. I'm just telling people to know their spot, to know their place, and to not cross lines. Colors. That's why you're in the band zone. Colors. You and Gee and Jabbage. If you don't get it, dude, you don't get the memo. You think I'm just like being all cute and everything? No, I'm being serious right now. You guys think you can upset me and try to undermine me and derail me from the conversation? You're not derailing crap. You're not derailing crap. Gee, colors, Jabbage. You can't do nothing to stop this. This is a train that's going to keep going. This is a locomotive. I'm driving a locomotive to success and to legacy. Say what you want, but I am going to be influential. I've already taken steps to become this generation's Frank Miller. Me and Frank Miller, we're like this now. People don't get it. You just don't know. I want you to know, but you don't. God. No, sir, it's not derailed. I brought it back. I brought it back to now, and we're going to continue talking now because I saved it. I saved it. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, I did. 100%. And my good friend Helmet is here trying to give a dissertation, but he can't because you people want to derail shit, and you guys want to fight with me for no reason because your spears are in your hand. You want to chuck them at me, think it's going to give you closer to your internet daddy. But guess what? Internet daddy ain't going to help you. He ain't going to give you a head pass because internet. Oh, wait, we got John's Longbox in the chat. Shout out to John's Longbox. How you doing? Keep fighting the good fight, John, and keep talking comics. That conversation is definitely necessary. See Carol with the violence again, colors, violence, not necessary. Not necessary, colors, definitely not necessary. See, Tim, why does a colored make you afraid, Tim? Why does that make you afraid? Why are you afraid of the colored, Tim? Tell me that. What is it about us colors that makes you afraid, huh? You can't handle our voices. You can't handle our emotion, our passion. You can't handle it. I'm sorry if that frightens you, Tim. If it scares you, Tim. But guess what? We ain't going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna protest now. Now I'm gonna get a free TV out of you. Should have said that. You should have said that. But you did. So now guess what? My TV is your TV is not my TV. See, look. I mean, at least Kirk finally said the thing out loud. He finally said it out loud. Thank you, Kirk, for being honest. In a sea of racist, you are honest. And I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. No colors. No, I'm not saying it. No, I'm not saying anything you want me to say. So, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
You should go on John Longbox's stream sometime. I heard he's handling Spurgs pretty well.
Are you calling me a Spurg?
Kind of.
I'm your esteemed host, Helmut. I'm esteemed. We watched Horror of Dracula together.
Yeah, but all you did the last 5 minutes was spurging at your chat.
No, I did not. I'm correcting my chat because we're talking horror movies and they derailed it. I had to bring them back. I am saving the community. Okay, this community needs to be saved, and I'm saving it. I'm saving it. So now they're redirected, and now we have Horror of Dracula on the screen because it's the conversation we're having. And I'm telling people about the next movie we're going to watch, which is Curse of the Werewolf. See, in 2 weeks they're going to have seen Curse of the Werewolf with Oliver Reed, and we're going to have that conversation because I saved the community.
Why do you wear a pink T-shirt?
This is red. This is blood red.
No,
I'm sorry the light makes it pink, but it's blood red. This is the color of my veins right now.
You look like a gay Chupa Chups lollipop. with the T-shirt.
Look, listen to me right now, okay? You have pods on your mind, and that's why your demented thinking is polluted. This is red like blood, okay? Blood red that vampires like to suck on. Blood red. You just don't get it. People don't get it. You really don't. You want
Yeah,
to
but
see me fail. You just want me to be dead. You want me dead.
I just want you to wear another T-shirt because it's pink and it looks homosexual.
This is not even pink. This is red. It's red, Helmut. Red.
It's pink and it's not the Bret Hart
I'm
cool
sorry
pink. It's the homosexual pink.
You're colorblind, but it's red. It's red for the sake of Allah. It's red. Okay?
You
Alright?
are one Swarovski crystal necklace away from Liberace with that T-shirt.
Ah! No, listen to me. This is red, and if you have a problem with it, then I'm sorry, but you're colorblind. You need more color in your life because we're here to stay. We ain't going nowhere. I'm taking you a free TV, and that's that.
I never knew that flamingos have a peanut-shaped head.
Oh, Gee, that was not necessary. Oh, Gee, that was told. Oh. This is the degeneracy that's in the ban zone. Oh, Gee, what are you showing?
This is red.
Yeah, that's red. Exactly.
This is red.
That is definitely red. Yes.
Yeah, that one in the background, but not
this is
the
like
T-shirt
this
that
is
you're
mahogany.
wearing.
This is like mahogany.
This is red.
This is mahogany. It's mahogany.
Fine, I'll get red. You ass.
It's mahogany. So there you go.
Is pink your favorite color?
No, this is red. I don't wear pink. I don't wear red. You guys in the chat are sick. Timo says it's the color of Pepto-Bismol.
Yeah.
The last time shirt is red. It's homosexual man red. Sark says very homosexual. You guys are demented. Really demented. See, look at this. See, look, same color. See, look, see it?
Not
See
the same color. This is pink.
That's red. This is red. This is red.
This is red.
This is red.
This is red.
This is red.
That's red.
See, Colors is mad because she's in the ban zone, along with Guy. So they have to gaslight me and they have to insult me because that's all they got. That's the only weapon they got. Oh, look, the engineer of the drones is here. It's CBR. Heroes Con is going to be a big. Don't say that out loud. Don't say that, CBR. People are going to take you seriously. Don't say that. He says it's going to be a big blast. No. I'm there to sell comics. I'm not there to do anything else. I don't want free TVs. I want to sell comics. That's it. That's it. Elasma, I accept your shirt. I don't care that you are. There's a color. I can't. Kiss her. I can't have a serious conversation because people want to just chuck their spears at me and just want me to not live. But I'm sorry. I matter. I absolutely matter. I matter. Okay.
And why don't you wear another T-shirt? Not that one.
Stop being gay, Helmut. Don't listen to the chat. Don't let them groom you. You're your own man.
Why do you call me gay? I have a Cobra Kai T-shirt on.
You're becoming the mean to the chat's Dracula. Don't let them do that. So I just turned it back. How I connected it back to the movie. That was genius. I did that. Like I just made the connection to the movie and the conversation and brought it back to horror Dracula. You saw how I did that? You saw the way I did that? It's
the
cool.
only connection that you have to Dracula with that pink homosexual shirt is Andy Warhol's Dracula.
You know what? Screw you! You hold the stream. Goodbye. I'm leaving. Goodbye.
Oh, we lost him. What are we doing now that he's gone with his gay shirt? Any suggestions? Golem? Which one? I got a pink shirt just like that from Tea and Cheese. Do you still wear it or? We broke the duck. Yeah. It was his last spurg out before he. Oh,
You
he's
people
back.
need me. You need me to be here because I am saving the community. You need me here.
Yeah. They really love you. They
El
love to
Pato
make fun of
Robinho.
you.
Sark, you really, Sark? Really? Get some protein in your life. Get some protein in your life. So I'm not wearing pink. This is a red shirt. This is blood red. It's the blood. It's the color of the blood in my veins. It's pure red, and it's oh, drag queen. Okay, come on, Kissel.
You will get an aneurysm from your spurg out, Elizabeth.
You know, Kissy. You're not gonna be in the band zone, but I am gonna call you Kissy. Come on, I'm gonna give you a band zone name just because. You don't deserve respect now for that. Kissel. I think we've come as far as we can. So to reiterate, not next week, but the following Monday. So 2 weeks from today, we'll resume the Monday Monster Moratorium with Hammer's Curse of the Werewolf, which is their only werewolf film in their library, at least in the classic sense. And Indie Comic Outliers will resume next Thursday. As this Thursday, I will be heading down to North Carolina for Heroes Con, which I'm excited about. The road trip there will be exciting. So, on that note, I'm going to call it a stream. Do you have any final words, Mood of Hell?
Yeah, next week, Curse of the Werewolf, good movie. The main actor, one of the biggest alcoholics of Hollywood, Oliver Reed. Nice guy. Died too soon. On the set of The Mummy with Brendan Fraser.
Oh gosh, no.
He drank himself to death. There's a separate backstory, but I will tell it next week or
following week.
Following week, yeah,
Right.
exactly. Right. Remind me to tell the story about Oliver Reed's dying.
Okay, yes, that'll be an interesting story to hear. So lots to talk about that. So 2 weeks from today, Curse of the Werewolf, Oliver Reed. Can't say you didn't have advance notice. You definitely got it. On that note, I will say goodbye to people and adieu. And Heroes Con in a couple of days. Road trip, excitement, Monday tour.